Beddies. How are you? Okay, so one thing I'd like to know is what deck would you like me to use here? Because I'm I'm a little right now. I'm gonna just see who's the first person to say something, and I will pick that deck. You guys were getting it on. This chat was lit for the last 15 minutes. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. All right, I don't know if anybody heard my question. Can you guys hear me? Anybody heard my question? Ooh. The one with the infinity. I knew. Oh my gracious. It's so funny. I always want to pick that deck too, you guys. I keep meaning to put the information on my description, but YouTube has not been letting me change my description. I'm going to clear it. Give me a moment, guys. Hey, how long have you been listening? How long have you been here? How long have you been a part of this tribe, this channel, whether it's with me or Mr. Lightwork? How long you guys been around? All right. Now, I'm going to introduce the video. You're going to go out, aren't you? Look at you. I can just see by the look in your eye. You look like you're going to go out. Okay. I'm going to do the thing. I promise you guys, I have full intentions on coming back and editing the videos. Oh, Luna, hello. Welcome back. You've been a member for 13 months, so definitely more than, about 6 more months more than that. So like 19 months. Oh, hello. Oh, these are messages. I was like, you guys are already, did you guys know that as, what are those called? As members, you can send, what are those called? These are like super chats. Every member gets to send a free super chat every month where your message gets highlighted. Okay. Hello, Sky. Well, you've been here, but thank you for your donation. Okay, no, for real. I'm gonna introduce the video. Okay. Because I have to tell you the truth. Something's going on, and I have a feeling we need to look into a tower moment. You have heard me talking about it if you've been around for at least about a week or two. But I do need to make sure that I know that that's what this is about. So we'll see what the energy says, but I do have a feeling. Okay. Yes, look at that. Yes, Lenice, you have been around longer. I know you. Okay. I do remember that. Okay. I'm going to introduce the video. I do believe we're talking about divine masculine. I do believe we're talking about a tower moment, but we'll find out there. And yeah. Welcome to ASCENT. Today we are checking in on the divine masculine and finding out a little bit more about their progress. Something has happened. I do get a sense that there are divine masculines who may appear to be retrograding, but remember, retrograde only appears to be moving backwards. So just give them a shot, okay? Give them a shot. I see some things are happening, and just like things come up for you for clearing, and you probably question it and go, oh, I thought I dealt with that. I thought I learned that. I thought I figured that out. Or maybe I didn't expect to be tested. Your divine masculine goes through the exact same things. And I know sometimes it's challenging if we don't believe that they've made changes to believe that they even have anything like our experience. But it can help you a lot to imagine your divine masculine. True, you know how they are if you know them. Imagine them going through one of the things you've had to deal with in the past, okay? And it might help to humanize, or maybe let's call it spiritualize them a little bit more. So let's get some information here from our cards. Okay, now, if you just got here and you were here recently, you said, Grace, you didn't shuffle this deck. But you all just watched me shuffle it at least 11 times. So I'm sorry. The fact that we have a continuation of a card that was our primary, it was in our energy and it was a primary card that came up in the reading. And then it shows up here to start this message off. And that tower I talked about has been in the last couple of readings as well. And it was a primary in that reading. I think we have a message here that says this is a continuation. But if you've never seen those messages, if you're new or if you just hadn't been watching, I want you to take this message first for the reason, like, don't go back to those messages first. Take this message first and then go back and look at some of the messages that were recorded right before this, okay? The Lovers and the Hanged Woman, 612. This is a quickening energy. And think about how these retrogrades work, and think about the fact that a lot of the time you end up dealing with things that accelerate your life. As frustrating, or even they say, like, don't sign contracts, don't do this, don't do that, don't make decisions. And it's like, actually, it doesn't matter if you do or you don't, or if you try not to, you still have to make choices and you still have to do these things. You make little individual contracts and covenants with people just in existence sometimes, just in being around them. So there are, no matter what you do and how you handle retrogrades, your life is going to move forward in spite of the fact that it appears to be moving backwards. I think it's very interesting that that gets mentioned. And we see the Lovers and the Hanged Woman, and it's like, listen, just like retrograde, on one side we're missing some information because we don't really know what's happening. Things are confusing, things are not clear. But on the other side, the Divine Masculine is experiencing a very rapid shift in their life because of what they just went through. I don't think it's all about Mercury retrograde, by the way. My point is, if, and again, not everything is not about Mercury. There were a bunch of planets in retrograde, like at least 5, in the past few weeks that all went direct. So it's not about that. It's simply the idea. It's the thought. Imagine looking at them and really feeling strongly that they were moving backwards, only to find out that in a way you're both right. So interesting. The Lovers, the Hanged Woman. I'm making a decision. Now I'm stuck again. I'm ready to move forward with my romantic relationships. Now I don't know where I'm at. I feel like I know what to do and I'm in a healthy space. Oh, wait, now I feel like I need to hold back and take some time to rest. It appears that the same thing is happening again. And I think that might be where some of you are, where you're like, I know something is up. Like, I know something is. I'm not stupid and I'm not wrong. I also know what I see. I don't see any change, or I don't see what everyone's telling me I should see. But many of you have been commenting that a lot of readers are talking about this type of energy, or talking about the same kinds of things. Like those of you who have found that, you know, trifecta, I think a lot of people are saying they have like 3, maybe 5 at most, that post that they really keep up with. And when they are all different, but say the same types of things or talk about the same energies, that can be really a great synchronicity or confirmation for people. So here's another look for you. You feel it and you're right. You feel it and you're right. On the good and the bad, these things are happening at the same time. And that is enough to create the energy of a tower for the Divine Masculine. When you put opposing forces to each other, you find that that's how most weather systems that go and wreak havoc, those, especially like tornadoes or just storms that come up really quickly, or that's why we have hurricane season, right? Because there's a certain weather pattern, and then there's a certain weather pattern that meet and they form and they create something that only happens certain times of year with certain other climate conditions in play. So it's like the Divine Masculine is having this perfect storm moment, this moment where everything in their life is brewing and kind of crashing into each other and creating that lightning strike that they need. And I have a feeling that they, in the times and the days where they knew what they were doing, set things in motion that could not be stopped, even in the days where they weren't sure what was next. So now let's really get into this. 10 of Swords. You know what? Look at that face though. Look in there. Can you, well, is it going to focus? Can you see in there? She looked like she about to get up and fling. She looked like she a porcupine. She looked like she is not hurt. She looked like she mad. Can you see her face? Okay, because this is the divine feminine figure in this, but this could also be representing the divine masculine's inner feminine, the wounded feminine, the bitter feminine within them, the part of them that needed to be shed until or before they were able to really step into their divine feminine within them. Again, even though they may lean towards divine masculine energy, they have both, and their wounded feminine has come up a lot. So this could be them. This could be them finally realizing they're not as wounded or weak or whatever as they think. This could also be us, the divine feminine collective, taking the swords, taking the nonsense, taking the trouble from storms that are brewing in our divine masculine's life that they don't know how to stop, even though they could, that they don't know how to end, even though if they did the right things, they could create the ending that they desire. This could be both. So interesting. Oh my goodness gracious. Lots of really big energy. Again, feminine figure only. In this typical standard card, we've got divine feminine and divine masculine walking together, but this one shows again divine feminine. I feel like it's divine feminine who keeps getting left in the lurch, wondering what's next. Is this finally it? Is this what it, I think it is? Or am I wrong again? Is this the moment, or do I need to figure something else out? It's divine feminine who keeps being put into that place. But for some reason, the divine masculine's inner feminine is strong right now. And I wonder if it's saying, hey, listen, they, in the recent awakening and awareness that they've had that's been increasing, have been more aware of how they affect you because their inner feminine is starting to break through the shell, the darkness. And they may very well be going through a tough moment within. They could, and here's the thing, people don't understand that duality that exists except for when it comes to themselves. You can walk around and say, I know how it feels to smile and act like everything's fine, and people freaking believe me, or they don't pay attention enough to notice I'm not, and be dead inside, or furious, or depressed, or whatever, some feeling or emotion. And I think to imagine the divine masculine is incapable of feeling more than one thing under the assumption that it's because they don't have feelings or what they don't believe they do. Not believing you have feelings doesn't mean you don't have feelings. Not being connected to your feelings doesn't mean you don't have feelings. So pretending along with them that they don't have emotions is not healthy either. These individuals are experiencing something right now where they're looking at you and they're questioning, especially if you guys are close to union and you've been in contact, there's been communication, there's been experiences recently together where you can tell things are shifting. They look at you and they see you the same but different. The only difference that they see is what have I done, which comes up constantly as the divine masculine approaches union. The fact that we don't see the divine masculine in the Five of Pentacles makes me question whether or not the divine feminine believes the divine masculine is coming along. I wonder if there are some of you who have had the moment recently or are about to have it. Maybe they do something where it's like, and you have that breakdown moment where you think, did I just waste all this time on this person? And I want you to understand, I had that moment with Mr. Lightwork. I had that moment a couple times. I had it once before I ever knew about twin flames. And then I had it again at a point where I was pretty invested in twin flames. And I don't want you to think that if you ever have that thought, you're not a good twin or it's not real. I see the divine masculine doing things that would give you every right to question it. And I also see the divine masculine questioning whether or not they are able to get out, because now they're looking at things and they're having a little bit more compassion for you. And they always had love and respect in many ways for you, but now to have the compassion, to have that added into the way they look at you, it's like, it's not just like, oh, and now I have compassion. It's like, I opened a door and a flood of something came in and I had to deal with how that spread through my life. And they're having to figure out, what does this really mean to me? What does it mean? What have I done to this person? Is the place that they're in, or the way that they're behaving, the way our dynamic is this on me? Did I create this problem? And Is it possible for it to be fixed? There is a lot of what ifs and questions from both sides of the collective right now. So let's see. This happened last time with the Lovers card. The Lovers came up, and then the Lovers was the top card. And now, what's back here? And the Queen of Swords. Oy vey. Talk about transformation. First of all, don't they look like Halle Berry a little bit? Okay. But talk about transformation. You add this in, and that's what you got. You got death. You got transformation. Queen of Swords is not about this life. Queen of Swords does not play this. Matter of fact, Queen of Swords might come in, slice one off, and then we're at 11. We are justice or strength. But she's not doing this. She'll laugh about it too. So this is interesting because we're talking about the divine feminine. We're talking about the inner feminine. But this is still about the DM. And it's interesting that we get this message that says, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry. The right thing will be done. As a matter of fact, from what I remember, the reading before the last reading, the Queen of Swords came up talking about exactly that. In this deck with the Two of Pentacles. Like, don't worry. And there was the 12. Like, don't worry. It's going to get handled. Okay, guys, hold on. I need to know the topic before I know what we're doing. I need to know because, okay, the energy did give us, tower transformation vibes. Okay. Not really tower, but definitely transformation. I can see that. But I'm trying to figure out why that's so strong here. So let's go ahead and get the topic. What do we need to talk about tonight? What's really going on and why? And again, I'm talking about this feeling that I have we're about to figure something out. Boom, big explosion of understanding. What is it that's happening with the divine masculine? That's 2. Okay, I was like, is that 1 card? What's happening with the divine masculine? With the divine, is there a tower moment? Is there something? 2 again. 3. I don't know, guys. Something does not, I feel like I need something clear, okay? I really do. I feel like I need something that helps all of us. I feel like trying to decipher multiple cards is only going to add to the confusion. There. No fucking way, bruh. Sorry. I didn't mean to, like, full on. I didn't mean to full on. Okay. Here's what's weird. In this deck, some of you have seen the tower, and I told you that this looks like what? A tower sticking out of the water. I told you that like 2 or 3 times ago when we saw this card. Tower sticking out of the water, and the flood came up really, really high, and now the divine masculine's like standing on here. So, okay, I already felt like this had tower vibes. Like, this is what happened when the deep insights of the moon meet the energy of the tower. It's like, it's time to get out of here. There is no way anywhere else to go, okay? The fact that we don't see the tower, but we do see the tower, even though this is the 6 of Swords, okay? The fact that this was here in the reading that we were just at, I feel like we need to move with this. And I do believe that this is explaining the urgency. I think that we need to learn about a few different parts of this. Maybe we should get some cards about the swords. Maybe we should get some cards about the tower itself. Maybe we should get some cards about the moon and the water. Well, hold on, what's that? That's the tip of the boat. I've never been able to see it. We see the stars. Is this a sword or a rod? It's like a very long oar, like in Italy. The ones they use on the... I just lost the name. Okay, all right. Sorry. I was trying to... Okay, so we need to... I feel like I need to, like... Okay. All right. Is there anything that you guys know is happening with your divine masculine that you might be able to put some insight in? Again, we're looking for patterns within the collective. So again, not everyone does know. Some of you are speculating on based on what's happening in a reading. So don't mention that, please. But if you know in person, you've seen or seen on social media, heard something like that, that there's something happening with your divine masculine, I would love to hear and see if we can find a pattern. That would be really helpful. It's another reason why I really encourage people to check out the comments. Is that 4? Oh, bro, if that had been 4, okay. Again, I wasn't gonna, but so, all right. I wanted 1. I wanted to kind of go through. I feel like I'm being told to do what I'm being told to do. So, okay, we're getting 1 at a time and we're going around the card. Ah, thank you. Okay. Swords. Whoa. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. Nope. Okay. The tower. Oh, I see. The tower. Okay, and then the water. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I keep saying okay. Okay. Now let's check this. We've got Queen of Wands. This makes me wonder. Why? Because he has a rod in his hand. I feel like that's Knight of Wands energy. I feel like the divine feminine is being represented as the divine inspiration right now, but I don't really understand for what beyond what we already know. Let's see if this will help us. Okay. Holy shit. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't usually, like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard me, but I kind of like censor myself when oh my gosh. It's 11, but it's the Ace of Wands. And so here's the thing. If you've been on the channel, actually, we've talked about this. So many of you already know this. If you've been on the channel, you know that the reason I said the inspiration, you are the divine spark. This is exactly what it's about. So it's funny because I was like, give me a card that tells me something different than what I believe it is. Because I know what this means, but I feel like there has to be something new in this reading, right? Because we know this stuff already. But to see it confirmed says, no, you don't get it. You don't get it, though. What did I say earlier? Divine, the Queen of Swords might come in and cut one thing out, and then we end up with 11. We end up with justice or strength. I feel this energy that says the divine masculine has already known for a long time. You guys know the Queen of Cups thing, right? Gives the Queen of Cups the special cup, the one that no one else has, that is like the cup of their kingdom, and it represents the King of Cups love. So technically, the cup the Queen holds was the King's special cup, and he gave it to her, and that's the only reason she's even able to be in that kingdom. He knew he wanted her, even though he was going to leave and come back. The divine kingdom that the twin flames create really mimics a lot of the love stories we see in the tarot. And the divine masculine sees the divine feminine as the divine spark because they gave their cup of love, they gave their love to this person so long ago that it's the reason why, even when they're not around, or they haven't been around for a while, or they haven't talked for a while, somehow you remain the one thing that helps them move forward. It's really funny because there's a lot of you who feel really sad or scared that you may have messed things up with your counterpart when you did this or did that. Oh, I messed things up by saying this or saying that. That must be why we don't talk anymore. But what you don't get is that you planted the seed of what they really needed all along. And it was really just by existing as you were, moving in your strength, in your fire. Remember, the last couple readings, the divine masculine came flat out and said, I need your fire. I need your energy. I need that thing you do where you make magic happen. So for them to come in and kind of say, listen, you want to know why I feel like it's time for me to move forward? You want to know why I'm embracing it? You want to know why things are finally changing? Because I know, whoa, look at that. Look at that. Do you see this? Can you see how weird this is? Look how it just split. I just went to slide it and this stayed down, but this came up. We're going to look at it. Oh my gosh. Hold on. And what's up here? Hold on. And what's this? I told you. Oh my gosh. It's strength. I told you. That's 11. You guys. That's 11. What? Oh my gosh. Did you guys just see that? Did anybody else just see that? Because it was all on camera. I moved the cards on camera. I showed them to you on camera. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. Where's the Empress? I wonder if we should split this like that. Because this and this... No, don't do that way, Grace. Do your cards exactly the way you said. Okay. I'm going to be real with y'all. I kind of want to start down here. Why? Because I feel like this reading is all about this tower. I feel like whether it's we need to know what the tower is, some of you already know and you need confirmation that it's actually doing what you think it is. Some of you have no idea there's a tower or it hasn't happened yet and you get the confirmation by knowing ahead. But there's something about this that stands out. So the very first thing we need to understand, right? Oh, I just realized that's 1-3. That's transformation again. That's 13. That's death. Y'all, something's going down. Okay. The very first thing we need to know. What is the most valuable information you can provide to the divine feminine about the divine masculine in a general reading that will speak to the individuals? This needs to be a card that has syncs, personalized syncs. It doesn't matter what I want it to be. It's about them. So what is the most important thing? What do they need to know? Grace. You have to calm down, Grace. You can't freak out. Oh my gosh, my hands are all wobbly. Oh, shit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now here's what's amazing. It's the Emperor. And some of you remember. First of all, that's 4. So 13, we keep talking about death, transformation, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-1-2, or what is it? 1-2, whatever. It's 4. Damn it. So we might have seen 6 of Swords, Emperor, 10. We may have seen the 10 of Swords, but guess what? We saw the Wheel of Fortune the other day. Now, some of you saw the reading that I did. Matter of fact, that is a club. That's a club, people. Let's just take something real here. You see that? That is obviously from cards. That is a club, which is a wand card. Now, here's where this gets weird because these are wands. We see the wand and Y'all ain't freaking out. okay? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just having a little bit of trouble. Frick. I came back here. Oh my gosh. I came back here looking for the Ace of Wands. I came back here looking for the Ace of Wands because that was what was back here. But that's why remember, it split like down like that so that we would look at this card. So we would see strength and go, oh, Grace said strength. Wow. Okay. But then when I came back here to look for this, the card I mentioned 10 seconds before showed up, still making sure this was 11. How the did that happen? And guess what? That still makes this 13 or 4. I was trying to tell you guys about the reading that I did where like 3 or 4 readings ago where this card came up with a couple other cards, and I was trying to explain, that's why I went back here to look at the wands, that there were 2 cards that also showed up in the last reading we did that said, I need your light. And I was like, do you remember that time where the Emperor showed up and then the Divine Masculine had the 8 wands spinning in the background, creating this huge fire? And I felt like she was behind him. And I said, for every, whatever good man or something, there's a woman behind him with a woman of fire or something like that. Do you guys remember that? There's too many things to explain everything all the time. I noticed there's some people that are in the chat that are like, oh my goodness, because they saw it all happen on camera. They see the numbers, they hear the numbers, they see. And then there's people who are like, what's going on? I don't get it. What I really love about the number 13 that I've talked to you guys about before is the fact that the number 13 is 1111, except it's just off balance, right? We usually want to see 1111 and we want to see it balanced. But instead, we end up kind of like, with this or with that. And it's like, okay, someone's off. And I used to talk about that and say a part of the transition that's happening is shifting into the more balanced energy of 1111 or even 4, which is, okay, we carry it all together. So interesting to see these 13s and these 11s that are kind of trying to signal to us that something is changing. So, okay. I love that someone said, people lie, the cards don't. And I want you guys to know that from time to time, sure, you can have a couple readings where they're really synchronistic. But what we just had was a moment where not only in the reading, as I'm speaking, are cards just popping out, but then they're linking to readings that you guys watched as cards did weird things and making similar messages and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so if you are doubting, but you find yourself here on a coach's channel, I talk more than I read. I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't like that it comes intuitively. They want me to just be like, now this card, let's look at his feet. His feet are not showing. Let's not talk. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. But I need you to understand that a part of my gifting is being able to speak things out for you so that when they show up as a wild sync, you actually see it, you actually believe it. And when you see that happen consistently across videos, you know you're in the right place, but you also know you can trust the messages. All right, we have the Tower. We have the reason, the most important thing you could possibly know right now about what the Divine Masculine is going through. The Emperor. The Ace of Wands is literally above their head. That's what I was trying to show you when I grabbed for that. When I tried to tell you that they knew, remember I talked about the Queen of Cups? They passed the cup over and then they left. And when they return, they're not the King of Cups. They're not the King of Pentacles. They're the Emperor when they return. Just like when they return, you're the Empress. And look at that. Remember, I kind of was like, do these go together? Yeah, I think a little bit. I think we might be able to find a message. Once everything's revealed, we may be able to see some information here that helps. What I love is the fact that this tower, even though it's a boat, I acknowledge that. This tower that I see is is technically would then be underwater. And I like the fact that this says this part of their life is done, finito, over. It's gone. It's been washed away. And they are moving into a space where they can be who they're supposed to be who they were meant to be, but also be who they were going to be all along. There was no doubt. Spirit did not doubt your divine masculine. You did. And some of you even started to doubt spirit. Don't shoot the messenger, please. Thank you. So we see the divine masculine return, and what do they have in their hands? This makes me think about the 8 of Pentacles, right? Learning all there is to know about a subject. But I like the fact that in this one, the Emperor looks different than if we had done this and had the exact same reading come out in the Rider-Waite deck, we would not have gotten the same messages. So it's really dope, by the way, that you guys really like this deck. And as we use it, it stays connected in spite of the fact that it gets used other places. But the fact that we have a smiling Emperor with a hand up that says, I'm ready to speak, and I'm speaking from wisdom, from knowledge that I have learned, that I have taken the time to learn, to focus on. This is what the Tower provided. The Tower provided the divine masculine with a book of experience that not only permeates their mind, their heart, but it also has soaked into their emotional body and their spirit. Because that's how deep things went. You learn a lot about your house when something bad happens, like a natural disaster. You learn a lot about what your house can take, how things look, how things are built. When you got to go from your attic and then find a way out of your attic onto your roof in a flood, you learn a lot about your house from top to bottom. Your divine masculine's house has been corrupt for a long time. And some of them weren't even the ones that did it. Some of them, it wasn't really even their house. They just moved into the situation and took over like, sure, why not? But now, the inspiration that you provided, that they needed before they went out. Some of you say, why did we meet? Why did I have to get with him and then not get with him? Some of you are mad that you're activating someone else's divine masculine, but you're not grateful for the woman or the man who had to activate your divine masculine, the one that's really going to come, but that's another story. And so you're asking all these questions and you're not realizing it was designed from the beginning for them to have to go through this to get here, where all these things happen at once in the middle of the perfect storm. But if you had not provided this, if they had not seen you in your fierceness, which is why so many of you met your DM at a point where you was like, I'm going to do me. I'm done with dating. I'm about to go be my best self. I'm going to go back to school or get that promotion. I'm going after something. And they come in and they see you and they go, oh my goodness. And then you, what? You fall apart in many cases. Not everybody did, but many people did. Okay. And you fall apart and you think, oh my goodness, I really was. Now, guess what? Spirit made that happen for you so that you knew exactly what to aim for when you was ready to get back on track. You would just, the first thing you need to do is get here. You've already done this once. So first thing you need to do once you realize you need to get back to where you were is go back to do what you was doing before you met your DM when you was actually focusing on yourself. So they needed to see this so that they got the message, so that they, hold on, I got to find the right thing, got the divine inspiration. And meanwhile, let's just be honest. Meanwhile, this was all you could see. Ready? This was all you could see. Oh, I came in and had to be their inspiration and I'm their divine spark and da-da-da-da-da. What about? But you don't know that there's more to the story. You don't know what's really going on in the middle. You don't know the purpose. See, just like they need to come back in and show up as your emperor, in many cases, they're going to be damn close. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh. And you're going to be so shocked and so confused. Wait, where'd this card go? Did I move this card? Oh no! What? What did happen? Did I move the card? I was scared. Just like that needs to happen for them, it needs to happen for you too. They need to think and underestimate you and question so that they'll get their together and stop fucking up people's lives. They need to think that they ruined your life. Meanwhile, While you over here going, oh my gosh, why did this happen? Why did my life fall apart? Why did I go back into all my old ways? Or why did I have to go back through lessons I thought I learned years ago? Da, 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 da. You know why? You know why? You know why? Because that was the only place for bam! The Wheel of Fortune. You learned the most about manifestation when you started on this journey. You learned the most about uplifting and ascending on purpose. You learned about intentions. You learned about all these things when they came in and fucked your whole life up and ruined all your progress and made you see your weaknesses. Why? Because you won't have those things as an empress when God made sure you went through it here as the queen. Oh, honey, I told y'all in the title. But y'all wasn't really trying to hear it from me. You didn't believe it was possible to have your mind blown. Okay, I'm looking at the chat at 2:09. I wonder how many people are going to leave after my song. Okay, so. Let's go up here. I want to understand the insights. Now, I believe this card is going to help us understand the journey, but also the destination, meaning help us understand the new moon, the walk in the darkness, the thing that led us on to go get the insights, as well as the insight itself. Okay? Okay, ready? What? Again, and this is more for you guys than it is for me. I know what I'm doing, but I need you to get in the right mindset for the question. So, what is the most important thing? Again, for a general reading that's going to connect with you as an individual watching on your phone or on your tablet or whatever you're doing. Okay, some of you are on the couch too, and some of you Grace, focus. What do you need to know, and what card will help you the most if you want to understand? Meaning, just like with this tower, the thing you needed to know the most is about this Emperor energy and everything we were talking about, all those things we just saw. And you could probably go look up the Emperor and read the reversal and the upright to understand some things about what's happening in between. Cool. Here you can do the same thing. You can learn a lot about big energy in their life that was helping them understand things, but also what the path that they had to go down in order to even be able to have that enlightenment. Ready? The 10 of Pentacles. Now, that's 16. Okay. I'm going to tell y'all that as much as I love this card, and I'm not going to lie that, it could be someone coming home and seeing you dope, which I think is totally happening. I say that, yes. But I got to tell you that there's something about this card and the energy right now, the fact that it's next to the moon, that says, no, honey. They needed to see the truth of their vision. Because remember, honey, you had to go through this and your DM came into your life to activate something in you to where your life got torn apart and you had your own towers so that you could get transferred through this Wheel of Fortune vibe. You could start manifesting, you could have, and your whole life gets changed. I often tell people the reason why you go through early setbacks, Ace of Swords energy, kind of struggling through situations early on is not to discourage you. It's to get you through that stuff early while it doesn't really count as much. What, Grace? What are you talking about? Well, I don't know about you, but I'd rather make a mistake when things are not as big and there's not as much at stake. I would rather make a mistake early on in, a art project or something when I haven't devoted my whole life to it and then made a huge blemish on it. So you went through this, and right now, because it's your present, it sucks and it sounds terrible and it feels terrible. And you question everything. And again, many of you even wonder, what the hell why couldn't I have just met them when they're ready for reunion? Because you both needed things to be triggered. And meeting you here, a lot of you were not where you intended to be. Your life wasn't where, a lot of you actually were just starting over. Many of you will meet right after a divorce or a breakup. Many of you will meet when you're making a major transition in your life, right as you think you're settling into the new. And so they kind of see you at a point where you don't really look like you're walking the talk, and yet you also do. Meaning they see you and it's like, wow, amazing. And then they get to know you and they think, wow, you're actually kind of humble. I don't know. I don't know. Are you really who I thought you were? And then later, when they realize, no, you really were, you inspired me to do more than anything. And you weren't even where you were able to pour into me at that stage where you had all this stuff going on. You must be amazing. Like to have that moment. And that's the aha. And that's where they know, okay, this is the right person to go to. And then they're still going to be shocked by the fact that this had nothing to do with what you thought about me or where you thought my life was. And it had nothing to do with what you thought of this was divinely led, divinely guided. This is who I am. This is exactly where I was supposed to be. You know that if you can't handle me at my worst, you sure can't have me at my best or something like that, even though sometimes that's a silly saying. It's kind of one of those moments. So seeing this says divine masculine comes in, meets you, doesn't realize that your pinky finger, just a little tip from the knuckle up, has so much Empress energy in it that they don't even could barely understand. But that's okay. That's okay because they're not an emperor yet, so they don't understand that. They don't see things from that level yet. Many of them are not even really kings yet. They're energy wise, not their bloodline, not their spiritual truth, but energy wise, they're not in king energy. They're in 2 pentacles, 4 pentacles, 5 of pentacles, and 5 of swords. They're early in the stages. They're still acting. So their vision of what's important is wrong for so many reasons. They're not woke in society. They're not woke spiritually. They're not, again, to say they're not awakening is incorrect, but to say that they're not woke, awakened enough that they can't see through a lot of the 3D things that keep them trapped. Their idea of the 10 of Pentacles is not the 10 of Pentacles that they should be thinking about. But they don't really know magic yet. They just know go out and get it. By any means necessary, go get it. So, interesting that the journey they had to go on was going after something that looked nice and shiny, but was actually poison. Poison! Poison! Poison. Okay, I'm done. I just did like 3 different shows or songs. Anyways, I'm just talented. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, interesting. They went into someone else's kingdom. They are trying to imitate, fall in line, go with the flow of what they think is right, which is really against the flow of what's right, against the flow of truth. And they have to learn that in all reality, if you are lacking spirit, it does not matter what you do. It does not matter how hard you work. It does not matter what you pursue. Everything you do will always fail and fall apart. And yes, we did see the 10 of Cups in another reading. And it's funny because the 10 of Cups for them, to me, was actually more important than this. Why? Many of you have heard me say, if you think about the 10 of Cups from the Rider-Waite, we've got simple life on the prairie. If with the rainbows, everything's good. If you think about the 10 of Cups in this deck, it's just a family that's on the beach. Everybody's happy. Everybody's holding hands. If you don't have the 10 of Cups, if you've never experienced, if you think about it, let's say that family just bought that island or, whatever, moved to that island and they're about to start their kingdom. Let's say that the family in the 10 of Cups in the Rider-Waite, they just bought that plot of land, right? And all they've built on it is their house and they're just self-sufficient for themselves now. But eventually they want to build a huge kingdom or a homestead, whatever you want to call it. The 10 of Cups is the foundation of the 10 of Pentacles. It's what makes the 10 of Pentacles kind of 3D, right? We've got this 2D idea and the 10 of Cups is sitting in this sense of, I can take care of myself. I can take care of my family. We have a beautiful, simple life. And 10 of Cups is beautiful to strive for. But 10 of Pentacles is all of that as the foundation and then building up so that other people around you can also experience that. showing the people around you, letting people come into your space and your world, and working together to all experience that. The divine masculine thought the 10 of Pentacles was this: go out and get some girls or guys, whatever they are into. The divine masculine thought, ugh, again, the feeling of doing everything like everyone else, it was such a cookie cutter vision that they had. And it was poison. That word came up again. I forgot I said it earlier. So now we see divine masculine understanding that 10 of Cups is required. And I like the fact that we saw that in another reading. I think it was one of the last ones. It was obviously this deck as well, because I remember that other card. And I think that them realizing that the feeling that they had, that you were their spark, that they, I'm going to tell you, a lot of them thought that they had soaked up enough of you in the time where you guys were around each other or together that they didn't need you anymore. They could just remember what you said. But what they didn't realize is eventually they were going to need a refill. Okay. So I want you to just consider here, as the divine masculine starts to find their balance, as they start to look at things in a new light, a lot of the things that they were doing are going to look similar, because this is the goal. This is exactly what they should be wanting. But they had to learn how to go about it in a divine way. And many of them would not have found that divine way without seeing you going through things the wrong way, pursuing things the wrong way, to lead them down the wrong path, to show them how messed up it was early on, so that they didn't continue to make the mistakes. They stopped pursuing the things that weren't good, but still continue to pursue the things that they always felt led to and called to, but just not in a way that was just selfish and prideful and honestly irrelevant. Like whatever they were going to end up doing was just good. I mean, good for you, I guess. You know, those people who, and again, there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things or wanting to live a nice life, but there is something kind of a little messed up about it when you do it so that you can do it and people can look at you. And I kind of get the sense that that was what the divine masculine was, which is another reason why when they saw you and they met you, they were like, I don't know. I want somebody who's a little bit more like blank. And that person that they saw was very much cookie cutter in terms of, like, you know how nowadays everyone looks like the Kardashians, or there's like a couple famous people where everyone's makeup, hair just kind of looks like them. Like the standard Instagram model looks like they all have that same Kardashian face. Well, I think the divine masculine may have had some sort of similar cookie cutter look. Now, it may not have been that. Like, not everyone likes that look. But what I'm saying is the things that they were pursuing, including in the person, if there was a third party or whatever, many of you, like some of you are in those third party situations where they're not happy in their marriage, they're not happy in their relationship. And so instead of just ending it, they go cheat. But they think having a marriage is more important than being happy and having love because that's their perception of the right thing. Well, once that changes, it doesn't mean that, like, some of them may shift and realize that it's more important to have love, and they may actually try with their person. Why? So they don't have regrets later. You should want them to try with their husband or their wife or whatever so that shit don't work out, because they're probably not supposed to be together, and for them to figure that out. Then them always wonder or go back and forth or just keeping you on the side. So to see this says they need the insights of the experience that only that experience can provide. So let's look over here. Let's kind of finish off this top. Let's understand. And we're talking here about this man, this rod. And I do kind of get, which I think, honestly, I think this might be the Knight of Wands. And I think I saw that. So don't get excited if I'm it'll still be cool. I think this is that. But then it's interesting that this comes out for this. So what I kind of want to understand is, because you can see him holding it. And since we're talking about the swords, the moon, the water, the tower, and we're going to talk about the man, all of these things are influencing, surrounding them in their environment right now. And I mean, if we're talking about it, we can't ignore the fact that we have the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Wands that showed up. And even the Hanged Woman, which is, someone usually hanging on a tree. And some of you heard me talk about the fact that the Hanged Man tree is the tree that all the wands in the Kingdom of Wands, that's where they got that wand. The king was on the wand, on the tree. He cut off. He took a wand with him to remember his place of enlightenment. He cut it in half to give to his queen when they got married, and it just grew back to being whole. And so every time he needs to, knight someone or give someone something in the kingdom or welcome them and say, here's your wand, here's your inspiration, he just cuts the same thing, the inspiration, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, the growth. It's a beautiful, beautiful story that I see. And so I like the fact that the thing that he's using is whatever he was able to use to get him out of there that the tower created, which obviously gave him enough. And we see the information in his hand, like it gave him enough to get out of there. But we also see that he's using the rod. This is his inspiration, and it's about the divine feminine. And I think that gives you a lot of information about where they're going before we even look at the card, why they're going, before we even look at the card. But now let's get the information. And no, it's not, I knew it said equestrian, and I remember from one time that it was that's knights in here. But it's of pentacles, which is dope because his inspiration, ready, is fucking settling down. It's settling down. It's planting the seed. You planted a seed in them a long while ago. And the truth is, it grew. And they will never forget it. And they will always see it in you. It will be the thing that makes them seek to become better and more because they will always see it in you. So to see the Knight of Pentacles, which is the card about, again, settling down, buckling down, honoring your commitments. You want to know what's driving them forward? Do you understand that that's kind of the point of this reading? From the very beginning, the whole purpose of me even talking about half the things I talked about was because I get this feeling and I get this sense that the divine feminine has been the inspiration, has been the reason that they do everything they do, whether it looks good or bad, whether they appear to be going backwards or forwards. Doesn't matter. You are what is driving them forward. You always have been. You always have been. If you've ever had that person say to you, like, I want to change, and you've actually seen it and things are just complicated, don't let the complications trick you into thinking they don't mean it, that they didn't set out to make those changes, that they didn't. Some of them will go off and they will, oh my gosh, join the military or go get some crazy job that takes them away from you for a while, or they will just go do something and you think, is this really for me? Really? Yeah. It's been for you. And they've been searching for the place to establish their kingdom. And oh my goodness, we just talked about that here. So now we have 11 there. I like this. This is what's happening. This is the divine intervention. And now I think we get to learn a little bit about what they take with them, what stays with them. Here you see this is the 11 that triggers them into making their shift. Okay? They shift and go to a different place than where they were going because they learned the lesson and the truth about what they were doing. And all along that they wanted you, they wanted the life that they knew they needed to be able to provide for you or to become the person they knew they needed to be. And now they actually feel like they have an idea of where to go and how to do it. And so the 11 for them, in terms of switching out of that like one-sided relationship, the 11 for them is here. This is how they're coming out of, I think, well, honestly, I don't really like to use this because it's a 10. But I do think that this was the bulk of where their energy was. This was the one that they had. And I think you were in 3 or 1 and 2, like maybe the Hanged Woman, the World card, and possibly the Empress, but I really get more of like a 3 of Swords vibe, to be honest with you, or like a reversed 3 of Cups. The divine masculine's decision to pursue the shiny things made you feel kind of like, what the F? What's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? It created conflict or stole your joy or both in many cases. And that was meant to help you through some of the things you needed to work through and heal from. So that really wasn't, the worst thing in the world. but that was kind of their one. So while they're over here, and it does look like they're having the time of their life because they've got that zero energy. They just keep starting fresh, doing all these new things while you're over here like, what the frick? You're having some serious conversations with divine. Like, excuse me. And I think it's interesting that now, instead of them just being here with this constant, fresh, new idea, someone I talked to recently on the phone, or actually it was a session with Mr. Lightwork. We kind of talked to him. He said, "Hey, listen, this person has that vibe of like, maybe not get rich quick scheme, like necessarily a con or something like that, but they just always have this idea that it's right around the corner. Oh, this is going to be the thing that makes me a billionaire." And it's like they never really follow through with it, or that kind of person. That's the vibe they had. And again, it just left you in a really messed up place where all you could do was seek divine. Now they've let that go. They don't want that was weird. You saw that? Like they don't want the constant new beginnings, they realize that they are never gonna build anything that way. Some of you have heard me talk about this card before, and it kind of, if you've ever seen Black Panther, there's a really special thing in Black Panther that they grow that helps the panther spirit, stay alive. And the first thing the evil person does is they go in, they try to get rid of all the flowers. And so the smart person, that's on the good side, has the flower. And why? Because it's not just about, helping the person. I think there might even be this hope of maybe we can plant the seed, right? If we just have one seed, we can make this work. That's kind of the vibe this person has. It's also like a Last of the Mohicans kind of vibe. It's this sense and this feeling of, I'm the only person who can do this. And this legacy, there's me and I'm important, but then there's also the seed. This pentacle right here, that is really their shield, interestingly enough. That's interesting. Their rod is their inspiration for going forward. And their shield is the seed. It's the thing that I was supposed to say that. They came, you planted a seed in their life, and then it showed up. And when they show up in your life, they're going to plant a seed in your life and do the same thing. There's so much happening. Okay, there's so much happening. So, okay. They get it. They realize they have to do this. They realize how important it is. They realize they're the only one who can do it. That is a big shift from, I'm trying to be like everybody else. I want to fit the cookie cutter. I want what everybody else has. And frankly, you over here trying to save the world, not interested. So let's look at the swords. Now we're going to talk a little bit. And remember, the Six of Swords card is a little bit different than the rest of the swords. We did see the Ten of Swords. Interesting that so far the only swords that have come out that we've seen are Six of Swords, Ten of Swords. There's your 16, there's your tower. I do have a feeling, though, that these six swords are talking about what we would see, which is the things that you can take with you, the things kind of like this book of information that he has. I think that this book and these six swords that we're going to look at here are very closely tied, okay? I think that what they learned on their journey, what helped them figure some things out, what helped them pick a lane and stick with it, is going to show up here. So again, okay, what is the most important thing that the divine feminine watching this as an individual can learn about these swords, about what the divine masculine needed to pick up that may not have been the most positive that they can then use later to help heal? So these could be swords that they picked up in battle that were used as, in murder, like spiritual battle, spiritual murder. And then they bring them to their new place and they use them to do surgery, right? Okay, so I know we don't do surgery with katana swords, but just go with it, guys? Okay. So what is it that we need to understand about really the part of their tower moment that was actually love from divine? The part of what they went through that was really them being shown the good, the positive, the truth. So let's look at this. This is kind of what was bad and good, what cut, and also they're going to be able to use as something positive. 7 of Wands. I got to tell you guys something. This is about you all the way. Now, first of all, The thing I told you about with the wands woman behind, boom, right there. But and that's 11. Okay, now. I understand that we have a 6 right here, but this is kind of like our topic card. We have 11 again. Like everywhere we go. But now, the 7 of Wands represents you. Remember the fiery queen? This is the same person, okay? So we see the Queen of Wands. We know we're the spark of the divine spark of inspiration. Whereas here they look at you and you're just too fancy and too this and too that, and then maybe not as much as they thought you were, and they're kind of confused. And you know what? I just want to go for something a little bit more traditional. Now they don't see you like this. Just like we see the Queen of Pentacles and then we see the 9 of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles has the crown and this, I'm here and I'm doing my thing and my throne. Whereas the 9 of Pentacles this is me and my humanity. This is who I am as a person. Now, all of those things that make me queen are still with me. Like my divinity is obvious, but this is just me in my personhood. This to me is a representation of you when the crown comes off. When you're doing your thing, you're walking around the kingdom, you're vibing, you're cooling. And the reality is, this is who you are. So that part of you that was defending why you loved him, why you loved her, defending what you saw, the vision you saw for your future, that part of you that was continuing forward bravely in spite of the fact that they may have knocked you off course a little bit and scared you, they are no longer going to look at you and think, oh my gosh, can I just get something simple? Can I just get someone who will just look good and shut up and make me feel good? Because I'm really about capturing trophies right now, not necessarily about having a partner. Now they understand, as I tried to explain, as Divine wanted all of us to see, this is the wand. I showed you the Divine Feminine. I said, remember that reading where there was now it wasn't the 7, it was the 8 of Wands that I did see. And I think the other night it was 8 and 9 of Wands that came out, because it was like 7, 8, 9, but it was 7 of Swords or something like that. Anyways, but my point is, you see these flames are what's burning in the background here. There's something happening back behind this that maybe we don't want to pay attention to, but that is some kind of light coming from somewhere. My belief is that it's the Divine Feminine, especially since we had the clarity here of this coming out straight away. Okay. So especially remember, that was a confirmation of what message I got when this came up, that I was like, no, are we sure? So it's like, they really needed you to understand that you are the divine inspiration. And what keeps them going within them is knowing that you're the right place. You are home for them, that you're exactly where they're supposed to go. Now, as we leave this energy and we move here, we see that they understand that the only way for them to shine is for them to have you there, to have their back. And for once in their life, they understand that that does not mean that you won't have theirs. They don't have to be afraid of that. You're there every day. You got it. Because it's not for you, it's not like for them. For them, dealing with you, even though you were dope, was stressful for them. They're like, oh my gosh, you're a lot, okay? But here, they're not dealing with you. Here, they realize that there would be any point where you come in and you handle things and you save the day, and that you don't have to deal with them. You can just do it because you're a beast. You've always been fire. Yeah, there may have been some moments after they knocked you off course and not knowing, they probably thought it was them, but all along it was divine sending you right where you needed to be to learn about manifestation. They were back here thinking they did something. No, honey. You just showed me where my weaknesses were so that I could make sure my fire burned brighter. And you didn't even know that God sent you to do that. Just like the devil didn't know God sent him to do that for Job. Devil had no idea. God already been knew, planned it out, wrote it before Job was ever even born, that the devil's going to mess with Job so God could bless Job and show him that the reward for having that divine relationship and moving past legalism was going to be beautiful and something that stayed with him forever. Matter of fact, that's actually a really good way to explain this. Let me ask y'all, do you really think that Job moved on with his life and had the same relationship with God he had before? No. After Job's life fell apart and everything got blown down and messed up. No. You know what happened to Job? That feeling of the Lord restoring him stayed with him for his life. His children's children probably talked about it. That's probably how Job ended up in the Bible, because Job is a story that many people say, hey, it might not have been real. Now, if it was real, it's kind of out of place in the Bible. It's like we got lucky and got to see this really specific part that also really starts in heaven. The first chapter of Job starts in the heavenly realm. So it's really interesting to think about, how did that get in there? And was the fact that this legacy of the beautiful things that God can do, was that what got passed down? Because it's like, if this is where they were before and their perception was so off, and just looking at everything through the wrong lens, and the way they saw you and the future and all that was just, it didn't fit. But then they moved here and they realize, oh my gosh, you're a beast. You can do anything. You could do better than me most of the time. This rebalancing that's happening is going to stay with them a lot more than it would have if they had not gone through the thing that needed to help it set in. So what is the thing that's going to help everything set in? What is the thing that got them to the point where they felt like they were underwater? Because again, this is not the Tower card, and yet I told you guys like a couple of weeks ago or less that I see the Tower, just because in this deck, that's exactly how the tip of it looks. Like it's pointy, just like that. It's black and kind of metallic. So this water rose to the top and forced them off. And it's something that will be the last memory they always have of before. I remember this moment of my life because it was a perfect storm. Okay, I remember when I had to climb onto the roof. And I remember how it felt when the water started to rise. And then I went away from that place, and because it got destroyed, I had no reason to go back. So all I remember is the events that led up to it, how I felt when I was there, and then leaving. And for the rest of my life, that memory will stay with me, and I will integrate it however I am meant to integrate it. What is it the Divine Feminine needs to understand about that experience of the spiritual waters rising? What do they need to know? Whoa. It's the Fool. This is weird. This would make this still 11-11, because again, this card is not really a part of it. This is our reading. This is just where I got what I needed. We have 11-11 on the board. We have 11-11. Actually, we have like 11-11-11. This is the shift. First, I'm going to flip this like that. First, they go out and they keep seeking new beginnings. They keep seeking the thing that's finally going to work and make everything that they want happen instantaneously. Then they realize that that's not how it's going to work. So as they move forward and come home, their inner feminine, really their whole self, but their inner feminine knows something that it will not let them forget again, which is how to make sure that the seed can grow, how to make sure that the inspiration doesn't fade. Now, the Fool card typically has the rod of inspiration, and it's holding a bundle. And if you're a fool and you could only take so much with you, you're probably only going to take the most important things in there. I always imagine it's holding a pentacle, even though we can't see it. There's something here that says the most important thing, the thing that stuck with them, is this understanding that there can only be one beginning, one path, one journey that they dedicate their life to. That they cannot keep having the same old. And I gotta tell you that translates really well to lifelong partner. This translates really well to, I can't keep looking everywhere I go. Because the problem with this, looking for again, right now it's the Kardashian face, but everybody knows things change about every 10 years. We might be cycling back to some things, etc. If they keep that up, one thing they're going to experience, at least here in America, is probably having to pay like alimony or something. I mean, I guess if you know, I mean, but again, I'm thinking more about DM. I'm talking about more like divine masculine. I don't know. I feel like that they're just going to invite themselves into that like bachelor marrying for sex and, you know, trophy kind of vibes cycle. But instead, they see that there's this opportunity to start fresh and build something with one person. This chance to create a life with someone who isn't going to just be with them for something. Someone who has fought for them from the beginning, who believed from the beginning. There's a lot of things that is pointing them and saying, listen, I know that you want to be here. You know, you want to be in this strength space of I'm the leader. But the reality is you can't, because you had to go and do this stuff instead for some reason. You were being ridiculous. But now that you're ready to come back, you have to start fresh. And you know that. And I know that that's what you've been afraid of all along, Divine Masculine. You've been terrified of what happened after the storm. It's weird. I'm talking about all this weird, like, all these random Bible stories. And now I'm thinking about Noah and how when the waters recede and you have the fresh start and you see the bird flying in the air. And so it's like, do you think, again, that, whoa, think about that. The same thing there. How did the story of Noah end up in the Bible if no one decided to write the Bible? Again, going off, if the Bible is real and someone really wrote the Bible and the Bible was really divinely led, then when God delivered the Bible to Moses, you know, and said, hey, include this story about Noah, which was probably a story that did get passed down because there's so many flood stories, then that's another one that says legacies. No one forgets the day that the big flood comes. No one forgets the man that built the boat. And they pass that down. And how do you think Noah felt when, you know, again, assuming that happened and they get off the boat after days of not seeing land for the first time in your whole life, you can't see land for a month or more. And all of a sudden, the opportunity comes. That to me is a moment you never forget. Job probably never forgets that first big party he's having when his life is restored, when everyone comes and gives him all the stuff and he's got wife and kids, and that first one where it's like complete family and he thinks back. He probably will never forget that moment, and it always connects him back to the moment where he lost it all. And in the same way, I think the divine masculine, I mean, even with the Noah story, it's like that first moment will always make him remember the first moment when God said, go build the boat. And it makes them think, if I hadn't have done that. And I think the vibe here is if I hadn't have walked away, or if I hadn't have stayed, if I hadn't have gone through this experience, they're learning and they're understanding that they needed to have those moments, but they also realize no matter what, my life was going to end up leading me back to this person. No matter what, my life was going to send me here. But how interesting is it that the person I felt the most connected to, the biggest crazy chemistry with, the person I was the most frustrated with, and I felt was like the craziest person because they wanted me, and somehow they turn out to be exactly what I needed all along. I can't move forward in my life and forget that ever again. I can't go 10 years down the line and then end up getting divorced or separated or whatever because I forgot that moment. So what happens? God gives me a moment where I have to walk into town buck naked after making it a long ass journey from somewhere super far away. And as the sun rises, and as I remember, okay, here's another one. The prodigal son, you know, that person gets clothed with glory when they think they're going to go back to the pigs. This divine masculine probably thinks they're about to walk into your life, and you would rightly send them away. Because look at who you are now. What would you want for them? But no, you understand. What is that? The King of Wands. Sorry. But it's like you understand. I mean, I kind of have to say it though, because this is literally this and this. they realize that this fire, I told you that they thought it was going to last forever, won't last forever, and they're going to need a refill. And they realize that this place that they've entered, this space, it's already there. They know they're in the right light. They know they're in the right energy. Your life, the atmosphere you create, look at it. Look at it. Look up here, bright, darkness. Now look at what happens when the divine masculine finally gives in to who you are as the powerful empress, the spiritual beast, but also as this 3D warrior who ain't fucking off. They come in and they realize that both of you can be vulnerable and humble and have this life that maybe doesn't look like they thought it was going to look, but they can be more fulfilled than ever with you behind them. And that you are not the type of person that's going to say the only, look at this. She know that man is looking at her. She know. But no, she come get me. You come over here. That's not how this works. Divine feminine runs out to greet divine masculine. Divine feminine is there to offer love and support when they're down bad. Divine feminine is there to fight. Divine feminine is there to help build the damn boat. Divine feminine is not who they think divine feminine was here. Why? Because they couldn't see straight anyways back then, y'all. But they can see you now. They can see themselves. They can see their inner light shining because their inner feminine, the part of them that realizes that it's okay to be soft and vulnerable and nurturing, that those are the things that are required to build to where you don't build an icy kingdom. I remember there's this, what was that show? The Magicians, where these people could build worlds and then they would put it like in a little ball, like remember in Men in Black? There was like worlds within worlds within worlds. And it was like, there was like a marble that had a galaxy inside of it and stuff. It's like that. You guys, I feel like the divine masculine is going to be pretty shook. I feel like they're going to be pretty shook. Why? Because we're shook here. We're in a place right now where we see that the divine masculine is making progress because the signs and syncs are undeniable. We feel the energy, we get the confirmation, but we really don't get it. Do you understand that this person has been sitting on this for so long? Do you understand that they already gave you their heart a while ago? Oh, man. I just feel like they're going to be shook right now. I feel like coming to the realization that you were right all along, coming to the realization that you were dope all along, coming to the realization, just having those moments and those memories that they will rely on for the rest of their life and reflect upon for the rest of their life. The fact that this moment is happening, and I'm trying to explain it in the ways of, I'm thinking of like big Bible story characters where their children's told the story so long that it ended up in a book that's sold around the world, thousands of years later kind of thing. Like, I'm trying to help you understand that you've had these moments before and your divine masculine is having one right now. And they've got to be freaking out because this is all happening at once. Like, it's all kind of coming together. The bed they made, they have to lie in it right now. But this is also transition energy, and it's telling you what's happening. It's telling you how they're going to come in this new balance. And it's also telling them they're getting the message, they're getting the clarity. And I'm just telling y'all right now is a really weird time in their life. Really weird time. They're never going to forget this moment. This is a life-changing, plot twist. Just, I need you to get that. You might want to make a note of this. You may want to ask them about it in the future. You might want to say, what happened to you at the end of 2021? What happened to you? And they're going to remember. I'm telling you. Mr. Lightwork has been having some moments like that, but you guys have to realize Mr. Lightwork has been awakened for a while. And so when these collective shifts happen within the DM collective, the awakened ones still get the energy, but they integrate it differently. They receive it differently. But I can see where Mr. Lightwork is dealing with some of the repercussions of what he's wanted, because he still to this day struggles with figuring out. He knows he's this person. He gets where I am coming from and why I am the way I am, but he does still struggle with where he's going to fit. Again, I already know that Mr. Lightwork could literally just keep having a YouTube channel or be a speaker for the rest of his life, and we would be very, very happy and have a good life, because people, especially as he learns and grows and continues to put information together, people are going to want to hear from him. But even Mr. Lightwork, because he spent his life kind of just pursuing what everyone else said to pursue, this is the first chance he gets to make his own choices. And I think even this is kind of, he's taking some moments and he's trying to figure out, how can I use the things that have given me these scars that I have and these pain points that I have, and how can I help people? How can I do the thing I've always wanted to do, which is make sure no one has to experience what I've had to experience. That's what me and him have in common. A lot of light workers have that in common. A lot of us go into places where we have to do darker or work around darker energies or something like that, because we've been there and we're strong enough to deal with it, and we want to help other people through it. So be aware that your divine masculine could be experiencing this in different ways. But what I think is most important is about how they see themselves here. They don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but they know that they need you. They don't know exactly if they're, going to ever reach a point where they really deserve you, but they understand that you're not that type of person to actually care. I want you to be able to take a minute and ask yourself, what could be happening to my divine masculine right now? And then to say, if I am their mirror and they are mine, and they're experiencing an extremely powerful moment right now, what might I be missing as I search for them or reunion? What might be happening in my life right now? What buzz might be buzzing that I'm trying to associate with my reunion journey when it's been all about me anyways? So check that vibe for yourself, divine feminine, and consider, as you have been on this journey with your divine masculine, that it's also been about your awakening and helping you get the jump start you need and that learning curve kind of knocked out the way. Where are you now as you stand more in your Empress energy than ever before? What is it that you feel like you need to be continuing to protect? The thing you've probably been trying to protect all along. And what can you do to be ready to open your arms to your divine masculine when they come home? Because many of you may identify with the feeling of the prodigal son and the father. Like, I sent you off with your inheritance because I knew that you were stubborn. I know you well enough to know how you are. And I know that you needed to learn. And it would make you happy in that moment. I wanted to see you happy. I wasn't going to argue with you. There's so many reasons. So I give you this. Go off. Go ahead. But I did that in the hope that you would come home. And so when you came home thinking you were going to have to apologize and tell me, I don't even need to be your equal. I will be beneath you. I had been planned your party. Like, I had everybody waiting for you to come home. The divine feminine has to ask, am I really going to have my arms open? Or am I going to be more like the brother in the story, where I kind of get frustrated that you came home and you were vulnerable rather than, you were gone all that time. You really just didn't have time to get dressed. You didn't have time to get yourself together. Gosh, you show up after all this time I've been working on myself, and you show up with nothing. And gosh, what is this really what I'm supposed to? Make sure you check yourself and consider that maybe you might be in the middle, where the moment they get there, you're so excited to see them, you open your arms. But the moment they've been sitting there a little too long, you think to yourself, wait a minute, I'm mad at you. How come you got to go do da 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 da? Now we need to talk about this. Be sure of where you're at, even if it's not a good place, or you want to change, or you don't agree with me and you're like, Grace, I'm not looking at it like that. It's different, and they're gonna have to apologize or whatever. And that's just how I say it. Just make sure you know where you're at and why and what it really means. what it really means. Okay? All right. This was weird. How long was this? This was so long. Oh my goodness. I wonder what's happening in my life, right? Don't you wonder now? I wonder what's happening in my life. That's like this beautiful new beginning that I don't even see. That is a moment I'll probably look back on. I mean, I just launched my book and I have huge plans. I've always wanted to be a writer. I mean, this is huge. This is a series. And then there was another series that actually kind of is like I have in the works behind, but I actually already wrote part of that. I already wrote that series. So there's, so anyways, it's like, maybe I look at this moment and think, well, you know, I only sold like 20 copies or something in my first week. So, is it really that special? And maybe I don't see it. But then maybe I'll look back and go, I remember when I released my first book. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe we can't see it because for us in our more awakened state, it doesn't feel as special as for them. Like whatever this moment is, I think is going to feel like a much clearer line. Like me writing my book doesn't really probably feel like the moment Noah saw land for the first time. You know what I mean? So it doesn't feel like that major moment. But maybe that's the point. Maybe for the divine feminine, it's not going to feel like that. But we could still at least try to acknowledge it. Whereas for the divine masculine, because of where they've come from and because of how bad things got, they feel every moment. They remember every second. I don't know. This is deep. Let's read the full really quick. I just want to see in this deck what it says. It indicates that there is a brand new start on the horizon. Risks are a necessary part of life, whether big or small. In life, a leap of faith is often needed. However, just remember to look before leaping. Interesting. Risks are a necessary part of life. I think that you were a risk to them, guys. That's nuts. But it's Mr. Lightwork, I think he saw me as that as well. Again, just like you, your divine masculine probably was a risk. You know, risks in project management are called threats and opportunities. And I think that the divine masculine saw us. Yeah, see, some people are saying, yep. I think the divine masculine saw the divine feminine as a threat. So that's the type of risk, a threat to their plans and who they wanted to be. Even though you might have been a great opportunity, they liked you and respected you and loved you too much to be opportunistic in most cases. That's interesting. Now they're getting told, listen, come on, you got to take risks sometimes. And the thing is, I don't think that they look at you as a risk now the same way. I think they still see you as a risk, but now again, it's the opportunity side. And they think that they're the risk, which means by letting you into their life, you turn them into a risk, which makes you a risk. You see? So it's like they're going to find a way to look at it and back away because it gets them really scared. It gets them really nervous. But I think in this new space, they understand that all along, they've needed this light, they've needed this fire, and they've been going everywhere they could to try to go get it first. And they've also been trying to live their life without it, which is what they were doing here. And I think now they're really going to see the fruit of their labor. Now they're really going to see things different. And they're not going to be so afraid. They're not going to be so hung up on what could go wrong or how they don't get their way or whatever. Wow. All right. I'm so intrigued by this energy. I feel like I'm just going to keep going. And there's nothing else here that's getting my attention. I mean, we already know that strength. I mean, I don't know. I just feel, you know what? Oh, wait. Let's read the Wheel of Fortune. Because I feel like that's the card for the divine feminine. Okay. The wheel may indicate that the powers that be will have a hand at favoring the outcome, for what is about to be revealed is fated. There are cycles that are changing. It serves as a reminder that the wheel always turns no matter the outcome, and situations will always be in constant change to promote growth and wisdom. Jeez Louise, you guys. Okay, guys. So, I'm going to go. Oh, here. This is my book. Don't forget, if you rate the book on Amazon, that you will be entered to win a free reading. You can get an hour-long DM reading, an hour-long DF reading, or you can get a love letter. So if you're interested in reading the book, if you're interested in being a, paid reviewer, because there's also, if you leave a review, you automatically get a free reading, but it's an exclusive reading. It's not personalized. But when you review, you're also entered. So everyone who leaves a review gets to be in the drawing, which is going to happen on December 1st. So if you're interested in being a part of this launch, I hope that you guys can consider supporting this. I realize now that the only way for me to do well is for me to have reviews. And I kind of realized that already like last week when I was looking at all the people that do book launches. But I also see now that it's the only way that Amazon will promote the book on its own. And so if you guys aren't reading the book and no one else reads the book, then the book will just get buried in all the other books. But if Amazon sees there's traction and movement, then I could actually possibly get the book to spread and get the messages about healing our trauma and mental health awareness and, twin flames and sacred love and all the things that I do on our channel that's kind of limited to people who watch tarot. I can get this book out to more people. So if you would consider reading it, if you would consider even buying a copy and sending it to me, in my wish list, I've added the book. And what that does is it will get me a sale. So even if you're like, Grace, I don't really want to read your book. I'm not a reader, or I'll wait for the audiobook, or I don't care. I just don't care. But Grace, I want to support you. I will purchase a copy and I will send it to you. And then I actually sell copies, which someone purchased one for me, which was really cool. Someone went and bought a signed copy from my website. So I'm selling bookmarks. They'll be in a couple of days. So I'll show you guys in one of the readings one day, to help fund the next book so that I can have the, financial means so that I can do more writing. And so I'm really, really excited. And I feel like I'm doing my best as a, first time publisher, to figure out how the ins and outs of how all this works. And the reality is, without your support, I can't do it. So it would be really awesome if you would consider whether it's going to leave me a review or picking up a copy of the book and giving it to someone who likes to read that kind of stuff. Or again, if you are interested, I have something set up on my website where you can purchase a book. Actually, I think I can show you guys how it works. Yes, it's already open. So you would just go to my website, and then when you go to merchandise and you see the book and the bookmark, so this is like the package, and then you can click paperback donation. And so what that will do is when you purchase that through me, I can only do this for people in the United States. I can mail the bookmark. By the way, if you've ever wanted something from me, I can mail you a bookmark, a signed bookmark. So if you have like the ebook, but you want something physical, especially since the writer, then you can order a bookmark and it helps support, everything that I'm doing to get the next volume out. But if you're interested in providing a copy of the book for free to someone here in the US, I can mail them a copy and you just purchase it. So what I would do is when you purchase it, I'll put a post up in the community tab that says, hey, there's a free book on the table, who's interested, and I'll send it to the first person that gets it. Or you could also donate a book. Like if you see someone in the chat saying they want it, but they can't get it right now, you can contact me and say, hey, can you give this to this specific person? So I'm opening that stuff up because I know that there are some of you who are like, Grace, I do want to support you, but maybe you don't feel comfortable with the content or whatever. Those are some different ways that you can help support pretty much my life's work. Like me being a light worker on this channel and the way that I go about doing it, like being a tarot reader isn't my life's work, but doing this with you guys is. Being able to pour into these readings means someone later can come back and say, hey, it's been a year. I needed advice and I found this video and it changed my entire journey. And that can happen for thousands of people for years to come, which is really, really cool. Again, my light work is only limited to people who are going to click on that video though. Whereas with this, every person, all walks of life, all kinds of people read. And I'm also going to have to turn this into an audiobook because I realize a lot of people don't, but they do like books. And so, but again, you guys, that costs like a minimum. And if you don't believe me, look it up. But minimum to hire someone like a professional to do it is like $1,000 minimum for the length of this book. And I'm probably going to have to do it on my own, which means it's going to take up time to do the recordings and edit and all that. So again, it would be helpful if I was able to have your support. If I can't, and you guys are just like, nope, Grace, I don't really care, I'm still going to be here doing readings. And I don't want you guys to think, because I know some people are like, I don't really want to support you. It's like a manager at a job that's like, nope, you're too great. I'm not moving you up ever. You're going to stay with me forever. And it's like, but no, it's like, I know that there's a part of you that might be afraid that I'm going to stop doing this. But the reality is I probably will stop doing personals, but I wouldn't stop doing this. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. If I ever got too busy with writing, that's where I would have to go. So I would really, really love if you guys would consider throwing your hand into the situation and saying, I'm going to do something, even if it is just, I don't know, going and sharing the link with someone or something like that, or liking the video or the ad or something when you see it. Because I know not everyone, some people are like, Grace, I don't have $8 for your ebook and I don't want it. So I don't want to make anyone feel like they have to help. But if I ever ask you guys for anything, it's because I feel like you're the only people I can ask, or you're the people that I should ask. And it's like, I wrote this for you guys. It's like I wrote this to help our collective and our community. And so if you don't want to read it, fine. But if you could help support it because you believe in what I do, then that would be the most amazing thing for me in the entire world. Because I mean, I don't ever ask you guys to like click ads or something. I don't put ads all up and through my videos and stuff. You know, I don't want to make this all about selling and all that. And so I'm not really going to be able to do much more than occasionally mention the book to you. So if you can just not scroll past and like every, meme I share, but not like my stuff. I get that it's like not interesting to you, but at the same time, I love writing and it's all I ever wanted to do. And my dad told me no one would ever want to hear what I had to say. And my mentor told me that was complete bullshit. And I'm just going to believe in my mentor. And I'm just going to trust that somewhere out there, as everything continues forward, especially when I get the next volume out, maybe some of you are going to have to wait and jump on the bandwagon later when you're like, oh, I can put some respect on it because she's not a writer, and I've never heard of her before now. But if you're like, nah, that Grace, I'm down, then anything that you can do, anything you want to do, thank you. And I won't ask you too many more times, I promise. So I don't think I've really asked. I've just like mentioned it. But this is my first time coming out and being like, I need your help. Like, I need your help. I thought this was going to be easier, but it is not easier because there's a billion books out there. And it's like, I don't know. I don't want to sit here and pay Facebook to advertise for me. You know what I mean? Like, you guys heard about what happened with Facebook and the advertising. And it's like, do I really want my stuff just to be paid by advertisers? No, I want word of mouth. But no, if no one reads it, then they can't spread it, So it's like, how the heck do I do this? So I'm figuring it out. I'm gonna work it out. And today's my first time I'm asking you to help me, like straight out. And remember, if you leave a review, you automatically get something. And then you also get entered to get something really dope, which is an hour-long reading from me. So I feel like I'm trying. I feel like I'm trying. I have the tendency, you guys, to just like kind of sit and slink back because I was the scapegoat in my family, and I was also the peacemaker and the golden child at the same time. Like I went back and forth depending on who was mad or not. And so something I kind of do is if something's important to me, I mention it and I mention it, and then I don't mention it the third time because it's like, nope, no. You know what? You're right. Don't worry about it. And so I'm trying not to let myself get into that space of just don't talk about it anymore because, no one's going to buy it. And I'm like, all right, how do I go about this? So I also would appreciate it if you guys would be like, Grace, it's okay. I mean, you don't need to spend this much time talking about your book, but I don't mind if you mention it. That would make me feel better too, to know I wasn't bothering people. But I do feel like I should probably stop posting about it because those posts don't get very many likes. And I don't know. I don't want you guys to unfollow me because you're like, stop talking about your book. I'm here for tarot. I don't want to hear about a book. So, nervous rant. Oh man. Okay. I love you guys. And you know I want to know. You know I do. So if you ever, some of you do this. If you ever want to come back and be like, Grace, I know what this was. Let me tell you what my DM told me. Or let me tell you what I saw in my own life and didn't even see. Or let me tell you. I would love to know what big, like, massive life-changing, memory-creating moment is happening right now. I would absolutely love to know. Because I'm thinking, by the way, about having a book release, by the way, guys. I think I'm going to do it on Sunday. I wasn't going to do it on Sunday because it's Halloween. But I guess if I start it late enough, most people wouldn't have a Halloween party on Sunday, right? They're going to have it on Saturday. And then most people go trick-or-treating before it gets completely dark, right? So I think I'm going to do that on Sunday. Is that silly? I don't know. But you guys, me and Mr. Lightwork don't have any friends or family or anything. You guys are our only friends. So, like, you guys know we don't talk to anybody else. We need to talk to other people. So we're going to try to figure out, maybe we can do like call-ins. Maybe we can make it a Halloween party, but we also do I don't know, you guys. I don't know what to do. I feel like you guys will only watch if we do readings. So I'm trying to make sure that if I do a book release party on Halloween, on a day where people might not even be there, that I actually make it interesting enough for you to want to watch. So I got to figure that out. So if you got any ideas, leave it in the comments. That'll be helpful too. And I'm really trying to work around the fact that I still am like doing work full time, and I'm actually supposed to be setting up these new courses, because trying to do individual coaching was just, again, it's the same thing versus, the book versus a reading. It's like I can reach more people and give a lot more information through this than I can through this in terms of the amount of time I would put into it. And so I'm about to start to create courses, and it's just like, I've got all this stuff in addition to this, into just a full-on book release. I'm still working full-time in terms of doing personals and collective readings and it's like, I just feel so all over the place right now, you guys. It's so funny. It's like, but I think a book release party, on Halloween would be kind of fun, and it would give us a chance to hang out, because we haven't hung out in a while. Yeah. I think that'll be a good put it all together, have a party with our friends. Yeah. All right. So we'll be there or be square. Is that right? Yeah. Be there or be square. We're going to have a book release on Sunday the 31st at 8:30. No, that's too early for you guys out in the West Coast, isn't it? Okay. Mr. Lightwork goes to bed early, guys. All right. You know what? We'll do it from like 8 to 10, 8 to 11. We'll just make him stay up a little bit late. Yeah? Yeah. 8. Okay. So around 8. If you don't got nothing to do or you ain't got no kids, then come hang out with us. Okay? Okay. We're going to do something fun. I don't know yet, but if you leave an idea, we might do it. We might do a bunch of different things. And I love you. And I'll talk to you later. I've been like talking for like 20 minutes. Okay. Bye.